Good morning, aspirant. Once again, I am back with new topic, with new energy, and once again, as we all know, today is Monday. We left with 11 weeks and 5 days for mains preparation, and the remaining weeks of the, particularly the 140 days for the prelims preparation. Overall, we left with around 233 days. Okay, so these days are very important for us. Days are going like anything, so we have to be prepared. And as everyone knows, today is our day of today is our day of IR. So you should remember the IR topics, and there are other 2 3 important events happen in the recently. Okay, so first one is our India Russia ties. India Russia ties. Okay, let me open the PPT, you will get the idea. So this is our India Russia ties first. The second one will second article is based on the recently the on the western coast, India and United Kingdom Navy engaged with the deep exercise, that is the Konkan exercise. Then the third will be the India's Samudra Shakti mission, and Samudra Shakti mission, and one more India's mission that is particularly related to the India's what we recently, there are three articles basically. One is from the India UK, one is from the India Russia, and one in India's defense act. Okay, so why we are going to study this India Russia relationship ties, strategic depth, cultural connect, and emerging challenges. Okay, so first is, this is importance. You can see, this is the prelims question 2019. Okay, so here you can get the idea what exactly the UPSC is asking question in prelims. Okay, see this, recently signed the deal known as Action Plan for Prioritization and Implementation of Cooperation Areas in the Nuclear Field. Which of the following? This is a 2019 PYQ. Okay, and the answer for this is Russia. Okay, so do remember what exactly the agreement between the particular countries with India, and the agreement per India with USA. UPSC might ask direct agreement and with which country. This is the example, and this is a proof of 2019 prelims question. Then mains question. What is the significance of India Indo-US deal over the Indo-Russian defense deal? This is the 2022 or 20 mains question. So I hope you got the idea why we are going to study India Russia bilateral relationship. Okay, and why in the news? The news in the recently the uh, Russian President Vladimir Putin talks about India's deep cultural influence on Russian society, and not only the formal ties with Russia, but India's informal and people to people ties with Russia. Okay, so Russia is the only country where dedicated TV channels for Indian films. See, this is the importance. This is the importance of cultural. In this context, we are going to discuss what are the areas of cooperation between India and Russia. Then next will be the what are the agreement, key agreement, major constraint, and way forward. Okay, as we have discussed the particular the key areas of cooperation. If you know, most recently the people to people ties, the formal ties, the most and perennial ties is the defense and security ties. Still, this is the areas of cooperation, you can get the idea. First one is defense. Okay, in this defense you will get the, still 60% of India's defense and military equipment are from the Russian origin. Best example is BrahMos, and the best example is our Akash missile and Brahmo. Akash is indigenous, but still BrahMos is a indigenously in S-400. Who will forget the S-400? Today we will discuss about the India's defense sector in S-400, BrahMos cruise missile, then assault rifle in Amity, then the defense corridor, Chennai Coimbatore defense corridor. All these are developed by with the help of Russia. And one of the important is nuclear cooperation, that is Kondankulam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu, developed with the help of Russia. Okay, earlier it was USSR and now Russia. They are both means from the since 1950s. Last last month, our honorable external affairs minister said that India and Russia ties are the perennial ties since World War II, and the ties are growing in depth. Very not only the defense and security, there are various areas where the ties are growing. So defense and security is a traditional area, conventional area. Apart from this conventional area, as I mentioned, the nuclear energy security, Kondankulam power project. Okay, then next one is, if you remember, India's first space mission, mission Aryabhatta, and then the 1987 Indian citizen who landed in the on moon, or particularly that which took the flight on the external sector, that was the with the help of space, with the help of Russia, USSR. Okay, so space cooperation, even our Gaganyaan mission is supported by the Russian Russian space agency Cosmos. Okay, Rosmos, sorry. So this is the our space cooperation. You should remember these areas of cooperation. Now, apart from this, there are another areas of cooperation, that is trade and energy. Since this Russia-Ukraine conflict, the oil export is increased from 2% to 35%. Okay, so this is the oil import increase between India and Russia. This should be remembered, because of the global uncertainty, and because of the many other factors, because of the hypocritical policies of the USA, that has led to the deepening trade and energy ties between India and Russia. Okay, so this is the ties, bilateral ties charge 65 billion. Can you imagine, the 65 billion is a trade ties between the India and Russia. Okay, so this is the just trade and energy. In this also trade, there are the goods and services. Mostly we export the services to the Russia. Then what are the, this is just one more dimension is connectivity. If you remember the international north south economic corridor, transport corridor, 2025 prelims question, then you will get the idea about this international north south transport corridor. This is one of the area connectivity project, and connectivity is not only the physical connectivity, there is another, that is digital connectivity also. India's UPI is now, rupee ruble trade is one of the area. India's UPI is now used in the Russia also. So digital connectivity is also there, digital infrastructure is there. India is supporting Russia, because Russia nowadays more focusing on India for its digital growth. Okay, and in this digital growth, India is supporting Russia. Okay, and as we know, health sector cooperation, health and education, recently, because of this H1B visa and the US tariff, US sanctions, Indian students are moving beyond the America dream. Okay, there was one story yesterday regarding the one of the student who spent around 90 lakh to just reach the USA, and the second or third day only, her university told her they are not going cooperation, defense cooperation, strategic cooperation, and way forward. Okay, so all these are the areas of cooperation where Russia and India cooperate with each other. Okay, now if we moving forward towards what exactly the constraint in India and Russia bilateral ties. The constraints are not major, but they plays important role. Okay, so now I am going to discuss what exactly the constraint between India and Russia bilateral ties. Recently, if you see the turning the geopolitical ties between this axis, Russia, China, Pakistan axis, this geopolitical divergence and Russia still towards China, it is a major cause for concern India, as we know the China is a dragon which always influence the India's interest and always want to dominate India in the Himalayan region. Okay, so this is a first constraint. The second one is US pressure. Second one is US pressure post Ukraine war, post it's not war, post Ukraine Russia conflict. Western countries are too much penalizing, pressurizing India to sanctions Russian to avoid the buying the Russian oil and energy. But India is still pursuing the policy of strategic autonomy. But this is one of the constraints, and this limiting the India's bilateral ties with Russia. And another one is 50% tariff of Donald Trump. Okay, this 50% tariff of Donald Trump is because of the mainly India's engagement with Russia and India's deep ties with Russia. Okay, so this is one of the area of the concern between the India and Russia ties. Then the another one is economic underperformance. If you see the ties, the trade between India and Russia is 35 billion annually, and if you compare this with USA's trade is around 191 billion US dollar. This is the huge deficit between Russia ties, India Russia trade, and India America trade. So India, this is one of the constraints, and India should enhance the economic and trade ties between India and Russia. Now the defense diversification. India is pursuing more defense from the France, Russia, and Israel. Comparatively, though Russia is still largest producer and exporter of the defense technology to the India. But if you see the overall broader perspective, then you will get to know that the gradual decline from the 80% Russian dependence to the 60% Russian dependence on the defense sector. This is also a alarming bell in the Russian defense corridor that might be India will shift towards the Russia, or sorry, USA. So this is one of the major concern between India and Russia ties. Okay, so India recently bought the Apache Chinook rocket from the Apache Chinook helicopter from the USA. Similarly, India and Russia's defense ties are limited to the means navy sector, the conventional areas. Okay, so these are the particular areas of, and then connectivity bottlenecks. Post partition, post 1991, India had lost the connectivity with direct connectivity to the Russian mainland, and that's why in 2000 India launched the international north south economic corridor, transport corridor. This can be even not only Russia, but this is a major concern for the Central Asian Republic also. Okay, so these are the constraint between India and Russia bilateral ties. Apart from this, there are this absence of private sector. If you see the India's engagement with Russia is formal through the government channel, not the private channel. And contrary to this, India's engagement with USA is formal and informal both. That means private player is fully engaged with US counterpart, and even US companies are fully investing in India. But that is not happening in the India Russia bilateral ties. So what we can do to enhance the India Russia bilateral ties? There are different ways where we can enhance the India Russia bilateral cooperation. So first one is maintaining the strategic autonomy, as India is continuously doing to maintain the strategic autonomy. So first one is to maintain the strategic autonomy. Despite the 50% tariff on India, India consistently stand on its own decision, do not believe by the any third countries action and pressure. Our external affairs minister, even yesterday also, he mentioned that the India Russia ties are perennial steady ties, and India, the far and prime most important is India's hardcore national interest. That national interest, no country can bully India to follow their own diktat. Okay, so India is following its hardcore national interest. So this is one of the way forward to engage India and Russia to deepen the ties between India and Russia. This is the first area where we can improve the bilateral ties. Then the second one is the diversification of cooperation. See, Russia have the potential of the particular the wheat and grain. Then the Russia have potential of the particularly the land where we can use for the agriculture production. India is the largest populous country, and if you see, Russia society is aging society. Okay, so this people to people and connectivity can help to boost the bilateral ties. Okay, this is informal way, this is informal channel where India and Russia can strengthen their bilateral ties. Then diversification of cooperation. Instead of just a defense, India can extend its bilateral ties with Russia in the pharmaceutical, AI, agriculture, space technology, health and sciences. Okay, so this can help India to strengthen its bilateral ties with Russia. Okay, because it is not the one directional flow of the information, but it is a bi-directional flow of the information that should flow from the Russia. Goods should flow from the Russia to India, Russia to India, and India to Russia. And most of the if you remember, most of the Russian goods are heavy goods. We are not focusing on the consumer goods, that consumer goods which helps India to enhance its so-called the Swadeshi brand, and there is a huge demand for Indian consumer goods in Russian market, and Russian market is still dominated by the Western goods, and we have the scope, particularly the agri product, particularly the textile industry, particularly the clothes. And if you see USA has deliberately imposed the tariff on the Indian textile sector, and Indian pharmaceutical excluded, but Indian MSME. So we have the potential to use this, invest this MSME potential in the Russia-India bilateral ties. So goods is one of the area where India and Russia can strengthen their bilateral ties. So apart from project, that is going to be a game changer. Okay, India should invest in the Chennai Vladivostok connectivity project, and then the digital connectivity. India have the strong presence of the digital public infrastructure. The best example is UPI. That UPI is already is operating in the Russia, but not in the entire Russia, particular part of the Russia. So UPI can be used as a pillar of the cooperation in Russia. Okay, so these are the areas of cooperation between India and Russia. Now, apart from this, if you see the continuous Russian support for India's space journey and India's space ambition, this can be supported via the recent Gaganyaan project. Okay, and that recent Gaganyaan project can be made as a one of the strong pillar for the bilateral cooperation. Okay, I hope you are getting the idea between India Russia bilateral ties. Apart from this, India should manage its ties with Russia and USA. Ultimately, it is the strength between the India and Russia's bilateral ties, and it is the trust between the two countries, not only the leaders, but the people that can enhance India-Russia bilateral ties further. Coming decade is become the more volatile. The global order is fully uncertain, and in this uncertainty, there is need to balance the bilateral ties and fulfill its national interests. Okay, so by this note, I am going to end the first topic of our discussion, that is India Russia bilateral ties. Now if we move forward to the our second topic is very interesting, and this topic is recently in the news. As you can see, the cup syrup, especially for the children. Why this is happening? The reason is this one. Recently, one 11 children died because of this poultry syrup syrup drunk by the children, which contains the contaminated permissible diethylene glycol. What is DEG and why we are studying this? The main reason to study this, if you see the question in 2021, there was a question on triclosan. In 2022, there was question on the pollution. So do remember the adulterant, pollutant, and what exactly they are going to microbes 2020 question. So do remember all the such concept and just get the idea what exactly how it is going to impact the health and what exactly overall the use. So we are going to discuss now what is diethylene glycol, its features, and its particularly the impact. A chemical formula is this: colorless, odorless, and this is a liquid. Do remember, this is not a gas, this is a liquid. What are the uses? Antifreeze, brake fluids, lubricant, some industrial solvent, and how it can get medicine illegally or accidentally substitute the glycerin. Okay, so do remember the propyl glycerin. UPSC asked the question this earlier on this topic, so you should be aware. Now why this is a dangerous, highly toxic metabolite, then no safe medicinal use and difficulty in detection. That's why 11 people, 11 children died in the Chindwara district of Madhya Pradesh. So it is very important for us to study the particular chemical and its uses and what exactly its health impact. Okay, so what we can do to avoid such further tragedy? So first is strict enforcement. FDA should revise the guidelines and should enforce the strict use of the particular drugs. Okay, then mandatory batch testing for all cough syrups. Apart from this, as government has mentioned that there should be the strict regulation use of the cough syrup chemicals in the children. Okay, because in ultimately cough syrup is a drugs and that may be impact the children, those who may there will be some toxicity. So it is always too easy, it is better to manage and regulate the use of cup syrup. Okay, then public awareness. Ultimately, India with 1.4 billion population is, government may sometimes fail to understand the things, but public awareness plays a crucial role in this. Okay, now we are moving from this one topic to the another, that is glycerol. To this glycerol, this exercise Konkan glycerol, because this is important for us. As we see the 2022, there was one question on exercise Mitra. 2024 question on the exercise Mitra Shakti. 2022 there was a question on defense. And as of my knowledge, as of my experience, I would say for you guys, for those who are preparing for 2026, they should prepare for this defense technology, defense experiences, and defense exercises, and defense rank, and everything related to defense for 2026 prelims exam. Even the 2025 is a year of defense reform, so you should remember what exactly the reform in which areas, what are the defense equipments, what exactly means, what exactly the reforms initiated by the government of India. And defense is become a major export and major sector, growing emerging sector in India's economy. Okay, why we are discussing this? India UK Konkan exercise, Konkan between India from the this exercise had started yesterday on the western coast of India, that is Western Ghats, and there are two spaces. And why this is important? See, overall, India and UK launched the Vision 2020 2035 in 2024. Okay, so this become crucial for India and UK to carry out the military and defense cooperation. Okay, this is the basic details. See, this is the naval exercise. This is not the army exercise. This is not the air force exercise. You should remember. And INS Vikrant is participating in this naval exercise. Indian naval ship. INS means Indian naval ship. You should remember this. And which countries are the participating countries? Norway and Japan. Okay. In this contest, we are going to discuss the significance of this particular exercise, when it was started, its annual, its nature of the conduction, okay, frequency, and its overall importance. Okay, so let me. It is a bilateral naval exercise between the Indian Navy and Royal Navy of UK. It was initiated in 2004. Then it is annual exercise between the Indian Navy and Royal Navy of the UK. Then INS Vikrant is participating in 2015 2025 edition. Okay, there are two phases of this. One is harbor phase, the second one is sea phase. The next one, the location is western coast of India. Then after Konkan, UK CSE conduct the joint drill with Indian Air Force on 14th of October. Okay, so what is overall importance of this exercise? The first one is, recently, if you know, the clouds and changing, the uncertainty in the global world order is changing, and UK after Brexit want to show their presence in the global power dynamics, and this Konkan exercise provide the better opportunity for the emerging India and the established power UK to cooperate in the defense areas, particularly in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so first importance is maritime security cooperation. This exercise once again reinforces the freedom of navigation, open Indo-Pacific, and rule-based international maritime order. This helps India and UK to assert their naval dominance in the rising assertive China in the Indo-Pacific region. The second one is India's growing expansion of the ties with UK in the defense cooperation. Okay, defense cooperation, this interoperability, this will help to easily navigate the control the piracy in the Indian Ocean region. And overall, if you see, there is a overseas territory of United Kingdom. So these territories are protected by the United Kingdom's own action, United Kingdom's own navy. So if so, officers do remember what exactly the particular exercise, its annual function, and overall. Now in this context, I am going to discuss the Indo-Pacific strategy, India UK bilateral ties. Okay, technological evidence, and India UK bilateral ties. The first and foremost pillar of the cooperation in India UK bilateral ties is, if you see, UK is our colonial master. Okay, is our colonial master. And what are these areas of colonial master? If you see this colonial master, 1947 we got the independence from this particular country, and this country is now want to cooperate in defense domain, in economic domain with India. The reason is assertive and the rising resilience India. Under the leadership of our honorable prime minister, we have surpassed the UK in the economic domain also, and now we are the third largest economy. Okay, do remember this, third largest economy by the PP. Okay, now this is the overall areas of, means this is the one of the areas of cooperation: economic cooperation, defense cooperation, the security cooperation, regional cooperation, and the overall the UNSC global level cooperation. In the security region, as I mentioned, we are discussing the exercise Kokan. So India and UK both are cooperating in the defense cooperation. Then the economic, if you see, in the last July 2025, India have signed the free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. This will become the template for the India to enhance its ties with the European and Western countries. Then the people to people ties, Birmingham in the United Kingdom called as Second India. We have the large number of diaspora in the Europe and specifically the United Kingdom. This is also people to people ties. Then there is a confirmed visit of the United Kingdom Prime Minister to India in the next coming week. So this is become the showing the assertiveness and the convergence between India UK interests. As US is retreating from the global order, it is a better opportunity for the emerging power to get that place, as the vacuum should be filled not by the authoritarian regimes like China, but should be the democratic countries like UK and India. Okay, so this is overall India UK bilateral ties areas of cooperation, but still there is a divergence between the India and UK. What are these divergence areas? The first divergent area is India's stand on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. UK support Russia, UK support Ukraine sovereignty, even though India support, but India's support is on the basis of India's perennial stand on the sovereignty, unity, and integrity. India stand with Russia for its engagement, its perennial ties in the last 75 years, and at the same time India support Ukraine, but unlike the India, UK want to India should stop the buying the oil from the Russia, and then particularly to support the Ukraine cause. India is supporting Ukraine cause, but there is some certain misunderstanding between the and between the leaders of the global West and the global South. Okay, the second one is India's UK's policy towards the but Mauritius island, that is a Chagos archipelago, that is lies in the Indian Ocean region. Even though the sovereignty is given to Mauritius, but that is not handed over to Mauritius in till 2024. There is a Diego Gracia Island in the Chagas Archipelago. That location is in this island is in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, this Indian Ocean region is become very important. Okay, so this is overall particularly the constraint between the India, and the trade between the India and UK is limited compared to the India Russia. It is just around 135 or some 35 billion might be this, but this is comparatively less compared to the China and USA. So these are the areas where India and UK have divergent point of view. Even the human rights, most of the time UK teaches India human right despite the diverse society and despite the diverse culture of India. Okay, so now what are the ways and what are the areas where India can extend its bilateral ties and its further engagement with USA. So bilaterally, there are areas, and the best example is recent India-UK Free Trade Agreement. This agreement shows that India is willing to support further the bilateral economic ties between India and UK. The second will be the defense, as I mentioned, the exercise Kokon between Indian Navy and Royal UK Navy. This shows that we India willing to want to strengthen its defense ties. Then the people to people contact India is allowing Britishers, even the Britishers lawyers, to set up their firm in non-advocate profession in India. Even India is providing, according to the education policy of 2020, India is letting the UK UK university to set up their university campuses in India, and this is one of the boost area to India UK bilateral ties. Even India and UK both support the cause of cause for the Palestinian state. Okay, so these are the regional level. Even India was initially a bit annoyed because of the AUKUS agreement, which is contradictory to the which exclude the India from the Quad AUKUS membership. Okay, but that was overcome by that was the resolved issue between the India and UK. Okay, then if you see the regional level, if you see the regional level, India and UK support the Indo-Pacific cause for the free free and fair Indo-Pacific region, because both countries know that emerging China is more threat than any other country, and even UK also knows, and UK is supporting India's cause for the particular China rise, China assertive China in the Assam region. Even the unsettled borders, even the other issues, they are the all caused because of the UK's whimsical policies in 1940s, and this ultimately makes UK to cooperate with India, as India have surpasses the United Kingdom in the economic term. UK knows that their partnership with India will boost their standing in the global world order. So overall, these are the areas where India and UK can enhance their bilateral cooperation. Okay, by this note, I am going to move forward to our next topic, that is India's air defense modernization under the mission Sudarshan Chakra. The contest before this, I will tell you guys Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra, the name itself is taken from the Indian mythology Sudarshan Chakra, which is used by the Lord Krishna to hide the sun in the day. In full day, Lord Krishna used Sudarshan Chakra to hide the sun and make the Ashwadhama to kill the particular that event. It might be everyone know that event, but they kill the particular and the Ashwadhamas and that ledge and always everything. But this name itself shows that the power of Sudarshan Chakra. This Sudarshan Chakra is name given to the on the line of Russia's S-400. It is just nothing but a we called Russia's S-400 as a Sudarshan Chakra. And why we call that Sudarshan Chakra? If you see, the reason for this topic is third. This is 2028 prelims question. Third is a terminal high altitude area defense, sometimes seen in the news. This is a India's neighbor American anti-missile system. Similarly, the Sudarshan Chakra is Russia's anti-missile system, and this S-400 Sudarshan Chakra have multiple objectives, have multiple components, and have a very strategic importance. Okay, so what are these multiple objects? What is the Sudarshan Chakra? What is the feature of S-400? If you see, there was one question in mains, they asked the question on the S-400, discuss the role of stability, Indo-Pacific ties, deals with the over Russian defense, and why in the news? Because Indian Army from the rampart of the Red Fort, our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that India is going to become self-reliant in its protecting its religious sites, its strategic important site, and other territories of India. Not only the strategic importance, the civilian also through the Mission Sudarshan Chakra. What is Mission Sudarshan Chakra? Mission Sudarshan Chakra is developing India's own S-400 system, imbibing the indigenous development of the anti-missile system. Okay, so this is Indian Army mission. You can check there is the procure the S-400 defense system, and this is example. You can quote what is Mission Sudarshan Chakra is an Indian Army initiative aimed to strengthen India's air defense preparedness in the sensitive border areas, specifically against the aerial threat from the Pakistan. As we know, what happened during the Operation Sindoor, this the best example how the air defense system can work and can protect the territories of India. If you guys remember, see, during the Operation Sindoor, not a single casualty happened in India due to the due to the air defense drone attacks of the Pakistani army. The reason is this because India have very strong, robust anti-missile, anti-drone systems. Akash missile, then S-400 missile. S-400 missile was deployed in the Amritsar that protected them India's core strategic infrastructure and civilians. Okay, there was casualty happen, but not because of the drones, and there was casualty happen because of the firing and the physical assault by the Pakistan army. And this makes India a very strong cause for the development of its own air defense system. And so the mission Sudarshan Chakra is a right step in this direction to develop its own air defense system. Okay, so now this is a what are the objectives of Sudarshan Chakra missile? To modernize India's ground-based air defense system. This means that this particular mission not only protect the vital civilian side, not only the military side, but a religious sites also. Okay, there are three objectives. This is a layered air defense system. Okay, and that's this layered air defense system protect the civilian areas, religious site, and military assets near the Indo-Pakistan border, because as our honorable defense minister said that the peacetime is an illusion and we should prepare. Even yesterday only during the Shubha Muhurta of the Vijayadashmi, our honorable defense minister said that if Pakistan do something in the Sir Creek area, then there will be the Pakistan has to think about its geography. Pakistan has to think about its future. So, but we have to prepare, and Mission Sudarshan Chakra is a right direction in this domain. Okay, this is one of the objective to make India, to protect India from the overall the Western threats from the Pakistan. Okay, now the third one, to integrate the new generation air defense platform for the, and as we know, there is full full means completely one wave is going underway across the global countries to develop their own air defense system. If you see the Israel and Iran 12-day war, Israel was bombarding missiles, Iran was bombarding missile, and Israel's most famous Iron Dome system was protecting it. And whatever the air strike by the Israel air defense forces that was destroying the at least physical infrastructure of the Iran, it shows that the importance of anti-missile, anti-drone technologies, and this is the main objective of the mission Sudarshan Chakra. So, not only in India, Iron Dome, Golden Dome, S-400, and there was S-300, which Iran have, and even China have their own air defense system. Okay, so overall there is a wave undergoing to protect their overall the air space. Okay, so this is are the importance of over the objectives of Mission Sudarshan Chakra. Now what are the importance of Mission Sudarshan Chakra? National security shield, because as I told, there are three layer security protection provided by this Mission Sudarshan Chakra, this Mission Sudarshan to protect India's civilian, India's military, and India's religious side. Then protection of the cultural and civilian side. As we know, India is the largest populous country on the one hand, and the other hand, India have the rich composite heritage and cultural importance in the global map. Recently, India's Cold Desert National Park is included in the UNESCO's Man and Biosphere Heritage List. So, to protect such cultural side, it is very important. And why this is important? If you see anything happen in India that hurt the religious sentiment will cause the instability, which cause the issue in the internal security. So protecting the cultural side is paramount important. Now the strategic importance. What are the strategic importance? So guys, if you see the strategic importance for this is the best one is protect the India's two front war. India during the Operation Sindhu not only was engaged in a war, having war with the Pakistan, but India had indirectly fighting with the Russian defense, Russian technology, and Russian air forces. Okay, air force technology. So India should remember that India is not fighting. India is not only one side threat, but there is a two front war. There will be the two front war, and we should prepare. And Mission Sudarshan Chakra is importance in this domain to provide the strategic advantage for India. Okay, so what are the important importance of the Mission Sudarshan Chakra? National security, civilian cultural protection, and strategic advantage. Okay, apart from this, multi-layer defense system, indigenization of the push, and the, if you remember, India's defense export has increased from the 600 crore to the 23,000 crore in last 10 years. This Mission Sudarshan Chakra not only protect India but provide India a revenue also. If you see, India's defense technology have more demand in the global south. For example, Vietnam, Philippines, and other country, Azerbaijan, India. Indian Ministry of Defense has signed around 191 countries agreement for the export of Indian defense technology. And Mission Sudarshan Chakra is a paramount important to provide the air defense system to the global south countries, as India always profit the principle of Vasudev Kutumbakam. This aligns with India's policy of Vasudev Kutumbakam, and in this domain, this Mission Sudarshan Chakra is become important. Okay, then learning from the past experience, as we know how exactly the Iran was the vulnerable, Iran was attacked by the IDF forces. This taught a lesson to global countries that you should have strong air defense system. and because of this, India have launched its own air defense system development mission, that is Mission Sudarshan Chakra. Okay, now apart from this, the next one is features of Sudarshan Chakra. This is important for your prelims, guys. Okay, procurement and advanced system includes the X403. Do remember this, because layer defense architecture, indigenous defense industry participant, there will be the radar system, there will be the weapon system, and there will be weightage and range will be there. So these are features very very important for overall our prelims question. Okay, in prelims they generally ask the question on what exactly the feature. For example, in 2023 there was a question on BrahMos and Akash missile. There was a question in 2021, once again the third, 2018 the third question, then 2020. There's always, even here there is one question on defense technology. Okay, so you should remember the features of this mission Sudarshan Chakra. In this domain, you should remember the what is Thar, what is gold, what is golden dome, what is iron dome, and what is S400 and their features. These are the air defense systems. Okay, and you should know the difference between the air defense system and missile technology. Okay, so these are the features of Sudarshan Chakra. Now, mm, rapid deployment, protection of the critical infrastructure, technological integration. Okay, overall, these are the importance and the features of the Sudarshan Chakra. But overall, if you ask me what is importance and overall the role of the Sudarshan Chakra, why India is investing in these so-called critical technologies, guys, one point I want to make sure that India have two broader enemies, and India's borders are unsettled in the western frontier also and in the northern frontier also. So India have to prepare, and everyone knows the recent uptake in the unrest in the Nepal. That makes India vulnerable from the external threat also, and if anything happened to the religious side, that might impact the India's internal security also. And one of the objective of Pakistan's Pahalgam attack was to internally destabilize India, the India which is known for its diversity and its composite culture. But this didn't happen. Ultimately, India responded with precisely and calculative attack through the Operation Sindoor, and India gave a full-blown response to the Pakistan's unnatural, unprovocative actions. Okay, so by this note, I will end this topic also, and the Sudarshan Chakra mission. But do remember its features. Do remember the what exactly what is Sudarshan mission, Sudarshan Chakra, its feature, its component, and do refer the PYQ. So overall, we have end up our four topic discussion. Our first topic was the India-Russia bilateral ties. Our second topic was the India-UK bilateral ties. Our third topic was the ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycerol is important as a carcinogenic, and they have some the impact. And do remember this is important for the prelims. And the last one is mission Sudarshan Chakra. This mission Sudarshan Chakra, guys, is important for the prelims also and mains also. UPSC did not ask the question in 2025 mains, but there is chances that the UPSC will ask the question in 2026 mains on the defense and defense reform. And the best example, if you ask me, the proof is every alternate year, that means 2022, 2024, and now 2026, UPSC will ask the question on defense technology. Okay, so do revise. I will provide the PPT of this overall our discussion in the link given below, so you can refer this PPT. Whatever the issue, if anything you want to share or you want to ask, you can ask. Apart from this, I want to make sure that one more point, that is our, as usual, the most important Sankalp Sarthi mentorship programming. As we know, we all left with the 233 days for the prelims, and 11 weeks 5 days for the overall mains come prelims preparation. So you guys should not waste the time. Those who are the serious, they should not waste time and invest the time on their studies, as the Diwali is coming, festive season is coming. So you should have engagement with this particular festival. You should participate, but it's not like you completely participating. Just have the idea of current affair things, and just have the ideas of the what surrounding is going on. Okay, and how to make this idea, how to channelize your day, how to plan your day. In this everything we are going to discuss, we are providing under the Sankalp Sarthi mentorship programming. Apart from this, the Sankalp Sarthi programming is not only limited to the, now we have expanded the Sankalp Sarthi programming to BPSC mains exam also, and after 12th of October there will be the UPSC mains Sankalp Sarthi mentorship program, also UPPCS. So if anyone want to join Sankalp Sarthi programming, contact details are given in the link description link below. You can contact us and anytime you can join the Sankalp Sarthi programming. Okay, Jai Hind.